Welcome inside Alumni Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, and this is the Alumni 5, powered by CLNS Media. Boston College Eagles hung tough with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in their renewal of the Holy War here on Saturday afternoon. Hung tough for a half, that is, and then the Fighting Irish literally ran away and ran over the Boston College defense in the second half, posting a 49-20 victory here at Alumni Stadium. Boston College Eagles allowing 515 rushing yards by Notre Dame, one of the highest totals in the long storied history of Notre Dame Fighting Irish football, and they did so on 51 carries. One of the big stars of this game, Brandon Wimbush, the option quarterback, if you want to call him that, really a running quarterback. He had a school record 213 yards rushing, did he, on 21 carries. That broke a record that stood since 1969 for any Notre Dame quarterback. Also with a big game, Josh Adams. He had 229 yards on 18 carries. In total, it was Notre Dame piling up 4 carries of more than 60 yards on the afternoon, and you can understand easily why the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame were able to run away from Boston College in this contest, posting that victory here on Saturday afternoon, raising Notre Dame's record to 2-1, and the Boston College Eagles fall for the second straight week at home. They fall to 1-2 on the season. The first point we want to bring up here in the Alumni 5 on this Saturday afternoon, the loss of Connor Strahan, one of the best linebackers in the ACC, and as Steve Adazio pointed out after the game, one of the 3 best players on the Boston College roster. When you don't have Strahan on the field, he was out with a knee injury, you were going to have big problems stopping the run, and that's exactly what turned out to be the case here on Saturday afternoon. It was Notre Dame really running the ball anytime and all over the field, and they dictated really the tempo of this game, running the ball. As Steve Adazio said after the contest, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. It didn't matter if the Fighting Irish were in 3rd and long situations. It was Brian Kelly going to call the run play either for Josh Adams or for their quarterback, Wimbush, Brandon Wimbush, and they were just going to turn the ball over to them and let them do their magic, and that's exactly what happened here on Saturday afternoon. After the game, Steve Adazio said, "We didn't stop the run. We didn't stop the run." That was the story of the game. He said, "I'm not a smiley face type of guy. There were a lot of positive things we did on offense to really keep ourselves in this game, but the long and short of it, literally, was Boston College allowing it was Boston College allowing Notre Dame to really wear down the Eagles defense, especially on the run defense, without Strahan in there. And without Strahan in there, it was obvious that Notre Dame was going to find holes, not only in the second level, but in the third level as well, as Steve Adazio pointed to the inability of their defensive backs and their other linebackers to tackle Notre Dame at the second level. And that's the reason you saw runs of 65, 65, 64 yards by not only Adams, but Wimbush, I should say, and that really set the tempo of this game in the second half when Boston College found themselves close, but again, not close enough as Notre Dame was able to pull away. Point number 2 in this game, John Hilliman and his reaction after the contest. He said that ballers got to step up. With Clemson on deck next week, the defending national champion down in Clemson, South Carolina, everybody is going to be in our ear telling us why we won't be able to not only win the game, we won't even be able to stay close in the game. We've got to block all of that out. Lucas Dennis, a defensive back for Boston College, he said the same thing. We have got to stick together, and we have got to really show everybody what we're about as a complete football team. We've got to have each other's back. It was the running back, John Hilliman, who fumbled in this game in the fourth quarter as Boston College drew to within 2 scores at 35-20. His fumble allowed for really Notre Dame to salt the game away with 2 late fourth quarter touchdowns and really put a little bit of extra icing on the cake in this 49-20 Fighting Irish victory. Another big point I want to raise in this contest, really the emergence of Anthony Brown, the redshirt freshman quarterback who had a horrible game against Wake Forest in the ACC opener just a week earlier. He rebounded. He completed 10 of his first 12 passes, and he had 2 exceptional passes to Charlie Callanan, including a 4th and goal from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 14 right behind me. A pass to the corner of the end zone that Callanan went up in the air, leapt, and came down with it before the ball was stripped out of his hands. He was granted the touchdown, and Boston College at that point made it a 35-20 game, and you could see some momentum and enthusiasm building on that Boston College sideline. I asked Callanan after the game what it was like going back to the sideline, and he said there wasn't anybody on that field who felt that we didn't have a chance to get back in the game and win the game because we still had several possessions left. But then again, as we said earlier, it was John Hilleman turning the ball over on the next BC possession, and that was really all she wrote as Notre Dame ran away with the victory. Fourth point in this game is, again, what's on deck next week down in Clemson, South Carolina. The defending national champion, everybody is expecting the Boston College Eagles to get rolled. How do the Boston College Eagles manage to collect themselves, compose themselves, and deal with the personnel losses that they have had here early in the year? We've already seen them lose John Baker, their starting center. We've seen Connor Strahan, their linebacker, go out. He has a knee injury. His availability for next week is still up in the air. So there are a lot of personnel and injury issues that Steve Adazio is going to have to figure out quickly, and he made reference to that after the game. But he said after the game, trying to keep his spirits high and keep the spirits of his players high, we expect to go back, have a great week of practice, and get ready for the Clemson Tigers down in South Carolina next Saturday. And the final point has to be the effort of John Hilleman. He had 22 carries, 122 yards. And why is this significant? Well, it's the first time he's had a 100-yard gain since injuring his knee back in the 2015 season. It's really important for the Boston College Eagles to get John Hilleman going after watching A.J. Dillon run well also early in this game. If the Eagles can have a 1-2 punch on the ground and play keep away, you could see a lot of what Boston College was trying to do in the first half of this game against Notre Dame when they actually led 10-7 midway through the second quarter and trailed just 14-10 at halftime. If that is the formula that Boston College can lean on and play ball control and play complementary football, obviously there's a better chance that the BC defense won't wear down the way it did today. Harold Landry, he was not on the field for the first 4 big runs of the day by the Boston College, or by the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. But after the game, Steve Adazio said it wasn't Harold Landry not being on the field that was a factor in those huge runs against our defense. It was linebacker and safety play. So it's going to come down to whether or not the Boston College Eagles can compose themselves this week. Can they play complementary football like they did in the first half against the Fighting Irish? Maybe, just maybe, they keep it close against Clemson next Saturday. Again, the final score here at Alumni Stadium on Saturday afternoon, with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame rolling up 515 yards on the ground and 7 rushing touchdowns. It was Notre Dame 49 and Boston College 20. Inside Alumni Stadium, Mike Petraglia. This has been the Alumni 5 for CLNS Media.